So last week we did that video on that inlet line that collapsed. It was like a fake braided steel line with a rubber liner, and the rubber liner had turned to like mush. So did the video and I explained it. I had never seen that kind of line before. A bunch of you guys did. Well, new one on me. But in the comments, several people said it's probably water supply hose, a water supply line, implying that water supply line is like a bad thing. But the truth is, water supply line is actually superior to the normal rubber hose that we use with the braided steel lines. So the reason that we use rubber for the braided steel lines is because we make we make custom lines, custom length lines, and we use our screw-in AN fittings. Where with a Teflon or PTFE, Teflon, right? Teflon is the brand name. PTFE is what it's made from. It's the actual stuff that it is. It's poly something something E, right? So PTFE, it's Teflon. That's what this stuff is made of. It's braided steel, like it's legit stainless steel on the outside, but on the inside is this Teflon, the PTFE. The reason that we don't use this on cars is because you can't make easy custom lengths and use the screw-on ends. So like a regular AN fitting, you would, let's say, tape the stainless, cut through it with a sharp hacksaw or a whizzer wheel, and then you would assemble the coupling for it, right? But on these, the PTFE or the Teflon has to have a crimped end. It won't hold a regular. So that's why we use rubber for the most part in automotive applications. This stuff is actually superior. It's stronger. Now you think about this, right? If a water supply hose lets go in your upstairs bathroom or an upstairs kitchen, it can total your house before you even know what's going on, or flood the house. So these hoses are made to an extremely high standard, but you can't use those ends, those screw-on ends. They have to be crimped. So what you do with these, now I wouldn't use this on anything higher than, let's say, the pressures that a typical carbureted fuel system is going to see. So between, like, let's say 10 and 12, 15 PSI. That's about as far as I would go with these, because the only effective way to use these in an automotive application is to tape it over, cut it to length, and then use a hose clamp, a band clamp on it. And in that case, definitely it'll hold 14, 15 PSI. It'll hold the typical 6 or 7 that a carbureted fuel pump will operate at. I know it'll operate higher, but I wouldn't trust it there. So that's why you don't want to use this in a high pressure application. But as far as the material itself goes, the Teflon that's inside of these things, and like I said, this is legit stainless steel, and the Teflon that's inside of this stuff is impervious to gasoline, to ethanol, to anything. So you don't have to worry about it breaking down. The stainless lines you use with the rubber hose on the inside, especially after a couple of years, will start to dry out, and you'll get like black specks of it will start working its way through the fuel system. And a lot of times, the carbureted application, they don't have a filter between the line and the carburetor. They'll get stuck in the needle and seat assembly and flood your stuff. So high pressure applications, no, but for regular gasoline, carbureted type of thing, where you can get away with a hose clamp on it, there's one other downside to it too. Once you work these things over a barb that you would typically use on a rubber hose, after it sets in there for a while, it doesn't want to come back off again, especially if it's like cold weather. You'll have a hell of a hard time pulling it back off because the Teflon wants to conform to the barb. But it works either way. And they definitely stand up to normal underhood temperatures and then some. And I've had instances where these things were on fire for a brief period of time and they were fine. No leaks or anything afterwards. So water supply hose is not a bad thing. As long as you use it in the right application, you don't ask it to do something it's not supposed to do. And what it's not supposed to do is carry high pressures without a proper fitting on the end. Now, they come in the standard AN sizes. So this is a number 4 AN, so it would be 5/16 inside diameter. They sell it in lengths of, this is number 6, which would be a 3/8 inside diameter, and probably the most common size that you're going to come across for a carbureted type of application. typically in these we're in Lowe's right now, but like if you go to Home Depot or a place like that, they typically don't carry the larger sizes like a number 8, like a 7/16 or ½ inch inside. But plumbing supply houses do have them, and you can buy it online, and it's really relatively cheap. If you just needed to make a couple of quick carburetor connections, this roll is $9.48. You can't beat that. And as far as the rules go, so if you're going to run the car at a sanctioned track and it's got to pass tech, you can only have very short distances, like a total of 6 inches, is it, I believe, of rubber hose making connections. From and that's from the fuel tank to the carburetor. Everything has to be steel with just those pieces of rubber to make connections. Well, this qualifies as a steel line, so you could literally plumb your entire car with this stuff, and it will pass an NHRA tech inspection. So that's it. Water supply line. It's not for every application, but for carburetors, that type of thing that we would normally use it for, it's perfect, and it's cheap, and it's available at any auto parts store. Think about auto parts stores, any hardware store. That's it, guys. I hope you got something out of that. I'll see you tomorrow.